Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and talking with Anthony Iannarino and his new book. Well, I got it right here. Eat Their Lunch. I love it. Here, let me hold it up and block out the screen there. Anthony, welcome.
Thank you. You know, mostly when people introduce me, I demand that they say one of the founders of the Outbound Conference. It's just a demand now.
Well, it's just a demand. One of the founders, and I am a founder. Hey, isn't it awesome when we talk about Outbound, the influence, and we both say this very humbly, influence and impact that we're having on the sales community.
It's the best sales conference on earth right now. Oh, and this year it gets even better.
Oh, we are going to dial it up so much. But anyway, hey, let's talk about Eat Their Lunch.
Okay.
This is your new book. And I made the comment to you on the phone the other day. I said, I think this is your best book because, and here's the reason why. You jump into level 4 very early on in this book, and you do a great explanation of it. Talk to the audience about level 4.
It's the first time I felt that the venue was right. So in the first book, The Only Sales Guide, that's a competency model. And I can't go out and say it's a competency model because nobody wants to buy a book on a competency model, but it's about success in sales and the mindsets that you need and the skill sets that you need. So it didn't fit there. There wasn't a way to try to cram level 4 in, even though I've been dealing with that content since 2010. And then the second book, The Lost Art of Closing, it just, again, that was a book about commitment gainings. And even though the title scares salespeople to death, they're like, oh, we're going back to Glengarry Glen Ross, which of course we're not. It's a consultative framework. So then we get to this point where I think that the books are in a certain order. The first book is Who Do You Have to Be? The second is How Do You Control the Process and Trade Enough Value to be able to get the commitments and create a preference? And now we're at the point where we can talk about how do you go and displace your competitors, which is the polite way to say eat their lunch or steal their customers or some other more aggressive sounding words. So to start with this, I think a lot of salespeople make the mistake of thinking, I have to deal with my competitor on pricing, or I have to deal with them on some other kind of thing. But the only thing that you can really do to beat your competitor is to create greater value than they create. So that is the root of a displacement. If you're going to come into your competitor's customer, your dream client, and you're going to take them away, you have to start by saying, I can create greater value for you than they can. So level 1 is basically, I have a good product. Well, everybody has a good product, so that's not going to help you. The second thing is, I've got a good experience. We're easy to do business with. We've got service and support, fine. The third is we can actually produce results. Well, everybody can produce results. So level 4 is saying, how do we become strategic? How do we become very intentional and proactive about coming up with the why change and then helping drive the customer to something better that their existing support right now, their existing partner isn't doing for them. So that's why we started with level 4 in here, because once you understand that it's a contest to who has the greater vision of the future and how to create greater value, that's how you're going to rip your competitors' customers away from them.
Yeah. And as I read through the book, it seems like every chapter just builds on that level 1, 2, 3, and 4. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Each chapter gives you a little bit of a different way of leveraging it in the conversations.
So this is the trilogy of Anthony Iannarino.
I think it is a trilogy.
Yeah, I think it is, which is really why people do need to read your first book, which of course the first book really had a misnomer title, but you know, I guess we got beyond that, didn't we?
It's unfortunate, but as an author, you don't get to pick your title when you're with, at least when you're with Portfolio. So I have so far picked none of the 3 titles, but I'll share this here with you guys. The first time we had a discussion about the title, I was an active participant, or at least I thought I was, or I was made to feel like I was. So they're like, well, what do you think? And we're thinking this, and do you have some other ideas? And then they went with the title that they really wanted. And then the second book, they came around and said, we have some ideas. We'd like to share them with you. Why don't you send us some ideas? And then they picked the one that they were going to go with anyway. This third time, the romance is over. I got a note that said, this is the title. It's going on Amazon on Monday. Look at this text and let us know if you want to change anything. And then I thought, okay, so we're not even pretending like I have any say in it anymore. And the fact of the matter is, I liked the title so much when I saw it. And there's an editor there at Portfolio named Nikki Papadopoulos. And she was at lunch with the team and they were talking about the book, and she titled it at lunch. She said it should be called Eat Their Lunch. And as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it.
So the first two books, they ate your lunch, but this third book, you both sat at the table together.
Sort of.
Came up with the title. Yeah. Hey, who is this book geared for? Who should be reading it?
This is the interesting thing, and this is the first book that sort of starts off with a premise that we're in a competition, and you are trying to take business away from your competitors. So if you're in what we call competitive displacement business, or what I sometimes call the red ocean, I've got the blue ocean books behind me here on the shelf, and I love the idea, like, be Netflix, don't have any competitors, or be Amazon, or be Uber. Well, that applies to the narrowest segment of salespeople ever. And the other 98% of us have to go out and take business away from our competitors in order to grow the business and to be able to reach our goals. So it's for anybody that has to go into a competitive situation and take customers away from their competitors. Or honestly, if you're in a competition, even if it's a contest where there's 2 or 3, this book's going to give you some ideas about how you win that contest. Because it is a competition, and it is generally a zero-sum game. I win, you lose, or you win, I lose, but it's not very often that both of us win.
Hey, I love it. We gotta wrap this up here. But Eat Their Lunch, Anthony Iannarino. How do people get in touch with you? Well, I know everybody knows how to get in touch with you, but go ahead and say it. Where's the website?
Thesalesblog.com. Best place to go. Do sign up for the newsletter, and I'll probably send you a code for Outbound.
Because Outbound, April 2019, we're going to be there. And we got some friends coming too, which is—
we got a lot of friends.
So over the top. Yeah. Don't use any of those names. No, it's okay. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.